Hello and welcome back to Women's Football Talk, the YouTube channel that brings you all the latest news and stories from around the world of women's football. Now before we get into today's video, make sure you smash that subscribe button and turn on the post notification bell so you never miss a video of ours, as it does help us continue to grow the channel as best as we can, as we have some fantastic content lined up for you this season. And make sure you are following us on Twitter and on Instagram for all the latest news and stories from around the world of women's football as and when it happens. So today's video is looking at 5 young players across the WSL to watch out for this season. Now I'm not going to do your obvious players like your Alessia Russo's, Lauren Hemp's, Ella Toons as well. These are going to be 5 players around about the same age, if not younger than them players, but I expect to have big seasons this year. So we'll start off with Hannah Bennison of Everton. Now the 19-year-old Swedish international joined Everton last summer and struggled for goals and goal involvements last year at Everton, and it wasn't mainly her fault because Everton had a bad year last season. However, with a new manager and everything else looking new and the signings that Everton have made, I'm expecting Hannah Bennison to be really key in Everton's progression back up the table this year, and I'm expecting her to be involved in more goals and assists and expect them to be really shine brightly this season. Now obviously she's fresh off a European Championships where she did score 1 goal against Switzerland in the group stages for Sweden, so I'm expecting her to continue her good form off the European Championships where she was absolutely fantastic for Sweden, and expect her to be one of the key players in Everton's side this season going forward and providing the assists and goals as well. So it's going to be one where Bennison, for me personally, I think is going to be that one just to think, wow, where was this Hannah Bennison last season? And maybe it's because of how bad Everton were, so she wasn't able to shine, but expecting bigger things from Bennison this year. Next up we have a look at is Emma Snurler of West Ham United. Now the Danish midfielder again had a bit of a injury season last season for the Hammers and didn't really get going under Ollie Hard. However, new boss Paul Konchesky, who was there last season, I think he will give her more of a chance to shine and we'll see her full potential fully come out in this team. Only 8 appearances last year for West Ham United, scoring the 1 goal. However, like I said, she missed a lot of that through injury. I'm expecting that she will join up and be fully fit this season and put on some great performances. Now obviously she wasn't there for the full season last year, she only joined in January, so it's not really, you can't take too much into account for half a season, and bearing in mind she did miss the last part of it due to injury, but I'm expecting this season a full first season in England and players around her at this West Ham team, and I'm expecting them themselves to look quite good this season. So expect Emma Snurler to be once again even one of the players to watch out for this season. Next up we have Leia Alexandri. Now the young Spaniard joins Manchester City this season and I think is going to be a fantastic addition to this Manchester City team. Now there was obviously been a big summer of changes for Manchester City this year, but the Spanish international at just 22 years old, I think she's going to be absolutely fantastic to watch, and is definitely one of the most promising young players to not have only just made the move to the WSL but in Europe in total. Alexandria is going to be a fantastic addition to this Manchester City team and will definitely be one to keep an eye out for this season. Now obviously City do have some good young players. Obviously I've spoken on Lauren Hemp, her new teammate as well, Dana Castellanos as well, so it's not just Leia Alexandri on her own that's going to be a good addition, but there is definitely a few more other players to watch out for. But I'm expecting Alexandri to be really big and key to how Manchester City play defensively this season. Next up we have Laura Blinkild-Brown. Now the youngster from Aston Villa had a fantastic end towards last season for Aston Villa, and she really shone in those games where she played for Carla Ward's side, and it was definitely one of them where you can see, okay, she definitely has something of really good potential, and the midfielder looked absolutely fantastic in the 11 or so games she played, joining Aston Villa back in 2020 from their Midlands rivals Birmingham City. And yeah, I think this year, a full season under her belt, and I think she'll be involved in a lot more games than she has been so far. But it's going to be something that will be very, very good to see her in this Aston Villa team this year. Obviously, there's been some additions to help her settle into the squad, so the likes of Rachel Daly will help her definitely with the more experience on her side. So I'm expecting Laura Bulling-Brown again to be a fantastic addition this season for Aston Villa. And my fifth and final player to look out for is Freya Gregory. Now, Gregory spent last season on loan at Leicester City for the second half of the 2021-22 season, and she looked absolutely fantastic. Now, she may not be playing starting minutes for Aston Villa this season, but I think she's going to have such an impact off the bench if and when she does come on, and it's going to be another good season for Freya Gregory as she looks to cement a more solid spot in the Aston Villa lineup and getting more games in the youth level for England over the coming years or so. At just 19 years age, she looks really well above her age group and is going to be a fantastic midfielder in years to come. And it wouldn't surprise me if in 2-3 years, if a big team amongst the top 4 or 5 in England try and make a move for Freya Gregory. She's got so much potential, and she looks an absolute joy to watch, both internationally for the youth teams at England and obviously Aston Villa as well. So those are my 5 players to look out for this season in the WSL. Let me know if you have any other young players who you think can shine through in the WSL this season in the comments section below. And like I said at the start, make sure you are subscribed with post notifications turned on, and that you are following us on Twitter and on Instagram for all the latest news and stories from around the world of women's football as and when it happens. And until next time, we'll see you soon.